Hello family, hello brothers and sisters. Thank you for coming back to watch our new video. And today we are on a very different setup. So let's talk about Rwanda. So this year, actually this weekend, they've been commemorating Kwibuka 30. That is 30 years since the genocide of Tutsis by Hutus, and some Hutus also were killed. About 1 million people were killed in that genocide, or that tribal conflict involving the president who was Hutu and a lot of other things. But historically, this can only be attributed by colonization. But most people don't know this, but it's true. So yesterday, or before the weekend, Emmanuel Macron had sent a message, and this is what he said. He said that France could have stopped the genocide with its Western allies and African allies, but did not have the will. So you see, this guy is admitting that they could have done something. It's like the whole Western group of countries, some African allies of these people, and Western and African allies could have done something, but they did not. And we also saw an update from a general who was during that time was there. His name is Jean-Claude Lafourcade. And this is what he said. As a former commander of the Operation Turquoise, which is the operation that went to Rwanda after that, I can testify that France had the desire to restore peace and stop the genocide in Rwanda. From the start of the aggression against Rwanda by the Tutsi RPF, President Mitterrand, who was the president of France at that time, had a constant desire to restore peace and put an end to the conflict by imposing negotiations on Hutu President Habyarimana. The Arusha Accords in 1993 made it possible to stop the fighting and establish power sharing with the installation of an RPF battalion in Kigali, a UN force of 2,500 men. UN Amir was set up to monitor these agreements. All French soldiers then left Rwanda. The attack on the Rwandan president's plane on April 6, 1994 was the triggering event of the massacres and genocide. So this group of soldiers, 2,500 men of the UN, had been there before the genocide. But before the genocide, they left. You see, so there has to be something. So the attack on the Rwandan president's plane on April 6, 1994 was the triggering event for the massacres and genocide. The UN, under pressure from the West and the RPF, then inexplicably withdrew most of the UN troops when it could have stopped the massacres. How could we not think that the Americans and the British wanted to give Kagame free rein in his conquest of power? In fact, these Westerners, when the massacres grew, refused to intervene. It was France that was first to recognize a genocide in May and decided to intervene with the Turquoise Force under UN mandate despite opposition from the RPF and the UNAMIR, none of its Western allies. So this guy is like he wants to show that they did something. But the truth is they didn't do anything. Why? You are coming when it's too late. Okay, we then Kagame, because right now we can see where Rwanda is. Actually, no Africa country we can compare with.
Yeah, even today. After that history.
Yeah, so there's this guy who said in reaction to that statement by Lafourcade, he said,
General Lafourcade is kidding who? The archives, including his own reports and correspondence, are accessible online. The primary concern of the LC under Mitterrand was to prevent an RPF victory, whether in October 90 or June 1994.
But this guy was saying that it's them who went when the RPF and the UN were against it. But they wanted to prevent the RPF from winning. RPF is Rwanda. Patriotic Front was the one which was being led by the likes of Kagame, and they are the people who managed to fight this. So these guys went when Kagame had already organized this RPF. So he's trying to make France look good in the face of all this. So this is Emmanuel Macron's message for Kwibuka 30. So
je ne peux pas être parmi vous en ce jour si important et cette 30e commémoration internationale du génocide des Tutsis. Sur ce génocide, ce moment si important, cruel de votre histoire, oserais-je dire de notre histoire?
He says it's important important history,
In their history,
and I say in our history.
there I say in our history. Like,
So you
what
say-
are you saying, Macron?
It's
What is
it?
what is French
I
history?
think it's in their history because they never did anything. They
Yeah,
just
they
let.
feel guilty about it.
Yeah, and we can say, and why would they even do something? Because they were the people
I
who
mean,
they
okay.
were the colonizers. They put themselves as the gatekeepers. They were there before this happened. You see.
Je crois avoir tout dit le 27 mai 2021 quand j'étais parmi vous. Je n'ai aucun mot à ajouter, aucun mot à retrancher de ce que je vous ai dit ce jour-là. La France assume tout et exactement cela dans les termes que j'ai employés et je remercie encore le président Kagame pour la manière qu'il a eue de les accueillir et ce faisant d'ouvrir une nouvelle page.
Look at how he makes it. He makes it.
Facial expression.
No, it's like he feels so guilty. I'm so sad.
I know,
Was he an
yeah.
actor? Anyways, that's it. Probably he's feeling it. If in 2000.
But wait, 2021 was
You-
it the last time they celebrated or
No. He
commemorated?
went. He visited.
That is the one. That is probably the first and last time you visited. So
Yeah.
I mean, things that you said in 2021 are still you are still sticking by those words even.
Yeah. Because
Mhm.
I believe that if you have visited this genocide memorial, you feel the sadness even right now. So
It
I
still feels the
I
same
get-
sentiment.
yeah.
Well, I think there's so much that has changed, even with relations to what France, the influence that France has done in Rwanda in the last how many years? 2 years since 2021.
Le passé devait être nommé, le passé doit continuer d'être analysé, étudié par nos historiens dans les meilleures conditions, avec le travail de l'historiographie qui se poursuivra.
Yeah, that is good. The past must be studied, and that is what is killing Africa, because most Africans don't know history.
These guys say these things without meaning it. Like,
Okay.
if France really wanted Africans to study the past, they wouldn't be hiding some of these things that they are hiding from their francophone countries. Like, the history that they give out in these countries is they came, they saved, they came, they gave you independence,
left.
they came, they improved your country. What kind of history is that? What kind of studying are you studying?
but if we are keen and we are wise, and our presidents are wise, they should listen to this and
Take it.
change.
Yeah.
Because we don't learn anything about our history. We
Yeah,
don't,
but even our history is written by them.
but we need to write it ourselves. Right now we know too much. Like we know too much, but our kids are still being brainwashed in schools. You see, like for example, you go to Senegal and you not find them talking about the Charoe massacre. You go to even Kenya, you just find snippets of the Mau Mau
Like,
genocide.
sometimes you don't even understand what really happened.
Yeah, and for China to grow, they started by learning every bit of their history, learning that this person came and killed 3 million people for people to convert us to their religion or to take out our things.
And
They
they are
came and
not
took us
proud
land.
because they are starting on a very clean. Yes,
Yeah.
those guys are starting on a very clean pace. Like right now, their newspapers are reporting things as they happen. That is history that is being saved.
Yeah.
A child who's 5 years right now might not be understanding what is happening, but in the next 6-7 years, this kid will know that there was an Ibrahim Traore who came and found our country messed up by France. This is where he took it from. This is where we are right now.
Yeah.
That's a very big difference compared to us who go back to our files, try to look for something that is not even true.
Yeah,
Very
and
difficult.
I applaud Kagame because what he does, he's done is every year there's a commemoration. So even if you guys don't want to learn our history,
You will definitely know
definitely
what happened
because we
30
are
years ago.
celebrating it.
Yeah.
Look at Heroes Day in many countries. We don't celebrate the real heroes. If you go to Kenya and ask them, someone like who is General Mwaliama,
Dedan
they
Kimathi.
won't tell you. Okay, Dedan Kimathi they know because he has a street street, Kimali
Most don't
Street.
even know what it is.
But
They
what
know
about?
the street.
Yeah, but they don't understand. They just don't even know. What about General Kubukubu or those General Madenke? They don't. They only know General Kimali the Maumau. That's all.
But nothing about this person, like just some sentence or one thing that you've heard. He fought for our independence, okay? And then
And
what really happened to
in
him?
high school in Kenya, we studied the history of America. You studied the history of US. What the hell is all that about?
What do you want to even know about?
So listen to Emmanuel Macron and change. We need to study our history from when you are very young.
Et puis le travail doit se poursuivre aussi pour que ce passé soit étudié, transmis. Et c'est aussi le sens des missions qui se poursuivent entre universitaires, historiens, rwandais, français, mais aussi du monde entier. Tout le travail qui a été fait par le professeur Duclerc et tant de ses collègues pour que les archives soient préservées, parfois constituées, que les témoignages soient consolidés et que ce travail se poursuive.
He's talking about this because it's work that has been already done by Kagame. But what about...
And I applaud Kagame for taking the initiative himself, because if you leave it also to these French historians and researchers, then it's a biased story. Some of the information that you will get will not be a clear picture of what really happened. Like we're hearing, there's a professor from France who's who's helping with the compiling of this evidence and some of the things that happened and interviews and whatever. But if really we rely on sources from the West and them, we will repeat itself.
Yeah. And right now we have YouTube, like us.
We are documenting the history.
Yeah, and a lot of people are doing the same thing. I call on Rwandese to do the same. To go, like there's this guy who has a channel called Mau Mau Chronicles. He goes asking the people who fought for the Mau Mau what happened, the people who are affected.
Experienced it.
Not just the ones we don't know, like their families, very old people. It's a YouTube channel in Kenya.
And kids, people were kids during that time, people were old who would see what was happening.
And I applaud that.
Those are the kind of evidences that we need to hear.
And also, before we had YouTube, we had that guy called Maina Kinyati, who wrote the books by interviewing the people who were involved before they died. You know? Yeah, so guys, let's see.
En tout cas, en cette journée, je voulais ici vous redire mon attachement, mon affection profonde, réassumer devant vous ces mots du 27 mai 2021 et vous dire que ma volonté profonde, celle de la France, c'est que nous continuions d'avancer ensemble, main dans la main, en nous souvenant, toujours, mais avec cette volonté d'espérance, qui ne peut se bâtir que quand le passé est regardé en face et assumé, mais avec cette volonté chevillée au corps, de bâtir un partenariat nouveau avec le Rwanda, avec toute la sous-région, avec le continent africain. C'est cela qui anime la France, c'est ce sur quoi nous œuvrons chaque jour, c'est ce sur quoi je suis engagé et je continuerai d'être engagé à vos côtés. Merci, je suis de tout cœur avec vous en cette journée. Merci à tous.
But these guys know very much how to act. Because let's talk about the Charoe massacre in which France perpetrated. They shot people like nothing because they were asking for their pay after fighting for France in war. Let's talk about all the genocides that have been perpetrated on Africans under their hands. Not just France, but the Westerners. We talk about Namibia, Zimbabwe, Kenya. We talk about all those countries.
In fact, we find it's all over.
Let us talk about Biafra in Nigeria. Didn't they sit down and watch as the Biafrans were starved? So there's a lot.
Wholeheartedly with us during this day.
Yeah. Even Congo, the Congo genocide by Belgium, it doesn't make sense. We like as Africans need to sit down and talk about this and teach our children because wow.
And never trust the enemy. For me, guys, if you did something to me, once they say once bitten, twice shy. Like, how do you do something? How do you harm me to such an extent that I go back to starting from zero? And these are my people who have died. And then you expect me to just forget about it and we move on as friends? Like, no, man.
Yeah.
Me as
even
hand
forgiving
in hand,
doesn't work.
Hand in hand, like now we are besties, we are okay. Like, how?
So some people will be saying this, this was a different generation. It was our great grandparents who did this, and it was not you who had this being done onto you. It was your ancestors. And this is what we are going to say. We were the same people who were there, and we have returned.
Yeah.
Okay?
Let me tell you, if your family in African tradition, if your family stole cows from my family, and it's like 50, 30 years ago, your ancestors stole cows from our family, and we've always had that rivalry between our families, you will never forgive each other until you repay our cows. That is African culture. You can't tell me that these are not it's their forefathers who did it. They are still the same lineage of people.
And they are still doing it in
even in a different way. So there's no way now you can make me understand that it's different times, different people. No. You are continuing the same thing but in a different way.
Yeah. Yes, guys. So thank you for watching. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Guys, as African bars, propose a way that we can maybe help in this. Maybe rewrite our history. Make films. If you are a filmmaker, reach out to us. Let us see how we can write scripts. Approach people who are doing this, and together we can even make animations for kids so that they can learn. Because people usually say, like there was this post in X, and they were saying that our forefathers were very stupid to just join a religion when they had their own spirituality.
They fought.
Man, that's what you are being told. But in real sense is they were forced with guns to their head.
And their
children were killed. And they said, okay, we are going to join so that you don't finish our young generation.
But some still fought. They said we'd rather die than change our ways and accept something we don't even understand.
Exactly. So guys, let us know what you think. It's sad. We applaud President Kagame and Rwanda. You are a mirror. You are a picture that we want to emulate. We want to rise from the ashes and grow to become this big economy in which everybody is happy, We see you in the next one.
And visit Rwanda.
Bye-bye.